One of the major mistakes I made in my first garden was planting seeds that looked pretty or unique and not planting seeds that were actually productive for my area. So today I'm going to get into productive varieties for your garden. Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm getting into what I'm planting in my garden this year in 2026, and I'm really excited to share what varieties I'm planting this year. Before I get into the video, I wanted to share that I have a school community now set up for those who are interested. We go over all things homesteading, including gardening, chicken, sourdough, fresh milled bread, anything relating to homesteading we cover, and we also cover how to make an income from homesteading. So if you already have a homestead and you're looking to build it from there, we cover that. And if you are looking to even just start, we cover that too. So we have lots of resources over there. I have courses and all sorts of guides and templates, as well as we have a really welcoming community over there. So we're just getting started and you're welcome to join. It's free for right now. So I would love to see you over there. And now I'm going to get into what I'm actually planting in my garden this year. Last year I expanded my garden. I used to have a small garden that was on the south side of my backyard. And then last year we cut down our tree and I expanded my garden to fill most of the backyard. And what I learned from that experience, it was a very beautiful garden and I loved it so much. My kids loved it too, but there were a few issues. It was a little overwhelming and it was a little bit crowded, and it was a lot of maintenance. I had to be out there every day. And then on top of that, for the first year since I've gardened in this area, I encountered squash bugs, and unfortunately a good chunk of my garden was squash. I had a whole pumpkin patch and I had, I think, maybe like 6 or 8 plants. So unfortunately that was really a struggle. I had to go there every day and check under the leaves. I had a little vacuum cleaner, and actually by the end of the summer, by the end of the season, right before I pulled the pumpkin plants, I actually broke the vacuum. I think it was from overuse maybe. So I decided this year not to plant squash, and I'm going to take a break, and instead I'll share what I'm doing in a second. Something else I've learned from past years is that I love heirloom tomatoes so much, but the problem is they don't grow very well where I live. When you live in the south, it gets hot in the middle of the summer and tomatoes stop producing, and so you need tomatoes that grow in a shorter window. And unfortunately, those are not the heirloom tomatoes. So I'm doing a hybrid, well, I'm doing 2 or 3 hybrid varieties. And also I am choosing disease-resistant varieties of tomatoes because I've struggled with blight every single year since I started my garden. I think it might have already been present in the soil. So I am moving my tomatoes into a different spot, and I am choosing a different variety that is disease-resistant. So as far as the tomatoes go, I'm doing Celebrity Plus and Defiant for my larger tomatoes. And then I'm going to do Cherry Bomb. They are cherry tomatoes that are blight resistant. So all the tomatoes, I'm planning on putting them over in the corner of my yard. That is my plan for tomatoes. Okay, next is eggplant. And I am planning on doing Pington again. I love Pington because it's very productive and they kind of all produce at once and early. But I also plant Black Beauty, the traditional eggplant, the ones you see in the grocery store. I plant those and they produce about a month after that, and they produce kind of in a wider window. And I'm also planning on doing some peppers. Okay, so I finally found my peppers. They were all over the place, but I'm going to do jalapenos. These are Craig's Grande jalapenos. So those are great for a lot of different things like salsas and cowboy candy. I'm trying out a new seed this year called Red Ember from Johnny's. I've heard a lot of good things about it. People say it makes good pepper flakes and hot sauce, and it's really productive. So I'm going to try Red Ember. I'm going to do Sugar Rush Peach again, and these take a little bit longer than other peppers. They take like the whole season, and they have this nice fruity flavor, and so you get this kind of fruity, peachy hot sauce. And I'm doing banana peppers because my husband loves banana peppers and he likes pickled banana peppers on stuff. So I'm doing that. And then he also likes shishito peppers. So I'm doing shishito peppers too. And they're kind of nice because you can just like throw them in stuff. Only sometimes what I found they will get, if you leave them too long, they'll get spicy and then nobody wants to eat them. For a sweet pepper, this one's called Orano sweet pepper from High Mowing Organic Seeds. So I'm interested in seeing how this turns out. It looks like it's gonna be good. It's supposed to be kind of like a larger sweet pepper, orange colored, so it's kind of like those Cornitos peppers. So my plan for my peppers and eggplants, I'm gonna put them over in one of the raised beds. I'm thinking probably near my berry plants. I have a grape plant over there and some strawberries. And then next to them, I'll probably put Clemson spineless okra. That variety of okra produces very well. It's a classic standard green okra. I've done red okra before and it looks really pretty, but it just doesn't produce as much as the Clemson spineless. In the second raised bed that is closer to my house, I'm going to do cucumbers and melons probably in that area. I'm not quite sure where the watermelons are going to go yet. I might put them somewhere around the edge and let them trail off the side of the bed a little bit. I'm going to do crimson sweet watermelon because that seems to be one of the main ones that's done well for me. It's a very high producing one. Again, it's more of a classic variety. It's not one of those pretty orange ones. And then in the middle of the bed, I'm planning on putting some kind of A-frame trellis. And I'm going to do cucumbers and cantaloupes, I think. I've done Hale's Best in the past, and Hale's Best does really well. So I'm probably going to do that again. I might try a honeydew one as well. And then I'm going to do Excelsior cucumbers. In the past, I've done Boston pickling cucumbers, and those do really, really well. The problem with the Boston pickling cucumbers is they need pollination. And in my area, I tend not to get bees until June, and the cucumbers tend to start flowering in May, about a month earlier. And so I will have lots of little baby cucumbers and they don't get pollinated for like a month. And then June hits, it gets hot, the bees come out and start pollinating, but then I have all these misshapen cucumbers. So I'm gonna try this other variety that doesn't need pollination. It can be grown in a greenhouse. So you'll have to wait and see, and I'll keep you updated on how my cucumbers do this year. So I mentioned earlier that I am not doing squash plants this year. I'm not doing zucchini and I'm not doing pumpkins. But one of my main goals in my garden this year is to reduce overwhelm. And so I have dialed back on the sides of my garden. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I have reduced my garden so it's just kind of around the perimeter of the yard. And so I'm going to be doing gourds instead of zucchini. And this, I don't know how to say it, but it's similar to loofah, and I did loofah last year. The cool thing about the loofah was that it was really a heavy producer for me. I planted it late in like May, and by September I had 40 loofah sponges. So I have so many loofah sponges right now, so I'm not doing loofah again because I probably have enough loofah for like a few years now. So instead I'm doing something that's similar to loofah, but it's edible. So I'm hoping that it will be a zucchini substitute. So in the next few weeks here, I am doing some early season plants, and one of the ones I'm going to be doing is these Lillian's caseload peas. I'm hoping I'll get some peas this year. So I'm doing imperial broccoli, amazing, and sawn cauliflower. And then for the cabbage, I am doing Tierra cabbage. It's a smaller, like 1 pound or 2 pound size cabbage, but I think it might tolerate the heat a little bit better without splitting. And also right now in my garden, I have bolero carrots, and I'm hoping they will get a little bit bigger. Right now they're really tiny. They seem to take forever. I'm also doing garlic and onions, and I'm about to start my onions here soon once the weather warms up a little bit. So for the garlic, I'm trying to remember what kind I had before. It was red something. Sorry, the name is escaping me right now. I have planted a type of soft neck garlic a couple years ago, and I just keep saving the heads of garlic and replanting it. So if you live in the South, I recommend soft neck garlic. And the cool thing about soft neck garlic is that you can braid it and it lasts a long time, so I have it stored in my garage. As for my onions, I'm doing the 1015 Texas Sweet, I think that's what they're called. They are short day onions. Doing lots of herbs. I always do like thyme and mint and oregano. I have chives already growing out there. I actually put my chives in with my strawberries, and I just kind of call it survival of the fittest out in that area. Maybe I'll throw some mint in there too. Last year I did this purple basil. It's called Purple Opal, and it did really well for a purple basil. Now the green basil tends to be more prolific. I have some Genovese basil that I'm going to be doing as well. And I'm also going to be doing this bouquet dill. And this has always done really well for me too. So I like to mix in my herbs along with my vegetables. I do companion planting intensively. And if you've read my book, Close Space Gardening, I talk about intensive planting intensively in that book. So that's the strategy I use in my garden, and it works really well in hot areas. I'm also really excited about the flowers that I'm doing, but I have to be careful because I just kind of go a little overboard with the flowers. So I have lots of flowers here. I have these double click cosmos. I love the frilly looking cosmos. And I have a bunch of zinnias in here. I got like geraniums out there. I got honeysuckle. I'm gonna try some asters out there. They'll bloom, I think, in the fall. I'm gonna do some goldenrod. And I got Indian blanket flower out there. And I try to do some native flowers to my area, like blue mist flower attracts butterflies, so I'm planning on planting some of that. I'm doing some nasturtiums. They tend to die though by July, so hopefully we'll get them out early enough to actually see some flowers. But this one's kind of cool because it has variegated leaves on it, so it looks really cool. And then we have some marigolds. I love the orange marigolds. I got some Queen Lime Red zinnias. And I actually have, let's see, I have these giant salmon rose zinnias I'm excited about. And I have some ballerina zinnias from Johnny's, and they look so pretty. They're these beautiful pastel pink zinnias. And they even have this new one out that's called Linen, and I almost got that one. I might get it next year, but it looks really pretty too. And then I have some black-eyed Susans that will have a nice little pop of color. And then I'm going to do Lemon Queen zinnias again. They did really well for me, and they're a beautiful branching sunflower, and they last pretty long compared to other sunflowers. And then I am doing hyacinth beans again. They look very beautiful, and actually I like to put them next to the sunflowers. They look so pretty, that purple and yellow combination. So I'm planning on putting them maybe over my arch trellis, and I'll have a nice little pop of purple. And I think I've covered most of the plants that I'm planting in my garden. My kids tend to do a couple of their own varieties, so I'm not quite sure what they're going to do over in their little area. But I got milkweed as well for the butterflies, and echinacea and lavender, and we'll see how they do. Sometimes they can be kind of finicky to get started, so I have them cold stratified right now. I'm sure there are plenty of others that I am forgetting about, but my box is a little bit full and it's hard to go all the way through it and be thorough with it. But I would love to hear what you're planning on planting in your garden this year. You can even tell me specific varieties, or if you're planting like the same thing as me, I'd love to hear from you. And I would love if you joined my homesteading community, because that allows me to connect more one-on-one with people than just through video comments. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you love homesteading. I love it too, and I love to share it with you. And I'll see you guys in the next video.